Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Living a Triggered Life podcast with Keith Maskell.
Roxann Maskell.
And we are coming to you from an undisclosed location in Cambridge, Massachusetts. We're so happy to be back here recording again. But let's jump in. Roxann, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling really tired. This was a long week doing too much this week. How you doing?
Man, you know what? I'm tired today.
Yeah.
My spirit is tired. My soul is tired. But of course, seeing you takes care of everything. And knowing that we were going to come here and record definitely, gave me life and gave me energy. And just the love that we're getting here, from our technical family, because that's who they're becoming.
I know, it's so nice.
It's just really taking care of us. And, I don't take that for granted. So in the midst of not feeling great, I am appreciative.
That's so awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. It's just, it's a lot this week. It's just a lot in general going on. But I really just try to make sure that I'm always being thankful. Even when days I feel like today, I feel like, I'm just trying to get through it. I feel like almost like I'm surviving each day. But there's joy.
Yeah.
Right? But there's joy and there's appreciation. And so I guess that's the thriving in the day as well. So.
Yeah. That's so awesome and sweet. And I feel a little sad when I hear you talk like that. But I know you're okay and you're just being honest about where you are. Yeah. And that's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and I always say, I appreciate the space that, you allow me to be vulnerable and talk and say what's on my mind. And that's important, right?
Always.
No question.
It's always important.
No question. So what's up? What we talk about today, Boo-boo?
We're talking about wellness. I've been doing a lot of presentations lately on wellness.
Yeah. From
different angles. And I thought it would be great for us to share with our audience what wellness is, but also how we work towards our own wellness and what some of the pitfalls might be. Yeah. Sort of anything that you want to share about your journey on wellness. I know you talk a lot about how important it is to have a wellness package.
Yes.
And so I think that's what we're talking a little bit about today, maybe 2 components of it or so. We'll see what we get to because you never know what's going to happen with us, right?
Correct. This is not scripted. It never will be scripted. I don't care what happens. I don't care if we end up on TV or we end up on Netflix. We will continue to be as organic as possible because that is who we are.
I think people appreciate that the most and they know that we're genuine in that way.
Yeah. Sometimes some people are different off mic.
Correct. Not us.
Right.
What you see is what you get pretty much all the time.
Right. And so that's the crazy thing is that people are always like really amazed that like you are actually who you are when they see, when you're off mic.
I know. It's kind of surprising that they're surprised about that. But I think that's just how we are. We've always been that way. It's been part of our healing journey, I think.
Yeah. But I think that, we're kind of in the public eye in some ways, sharing our experiences. But we don't think of ourselves as experts, so to speak, or as like stars or anything like that. Like that's just the furthest from our mind. And so when people see us and recognize us, they're like, "Oh no, that's you. Right. It's you."
You're right. That's always it. I know you. It's you.
It's like,
right.
Wait a minute.
It's me.
Wait a minute. It's Keith and Roxann. Oh, I know. I've listened to your podcast, which is always just, excuse me.
It's like, it's always the first time for us when we hear that,
it's a
right?
Blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. So, I was just going to have you start just because you've been doing a lot of presentations,
Yeah. So some of what I've been presenting about wellness is that there's, usually 4 components. And I know I'm going to forget one, so it doesn't matter, though. We'll get to it. I always do that, right? That's That's part of what we do. But I want to focus a little bit today on spiritual wellness because I've been doing a lot of work on my spiritual wellness.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to you a lot about some of the things that I'm experiencing.
Right.
And so I just think it's helpful to talk to people about spiritual wellness.
Right.
And how important it is to figure that out for you.
Yeah.
And I think the place that the two of us started our spiritual wellness together was really in organizing our wedding.
Well, that's interesting. But, I think it's important to talk about that. But, can you talk about what it was like? What was your experience around, spiritual stuff?
You mean my back in the day growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Thank you for that, like keeping me on task there. Because it is important to start at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I always was sent to Catholic school because public school wasn't the best education,
right? But
Catholic school was. And for anybody who went to Catholic school, you practice all the holy days, everything. You had communion, confirmation, all the sort of typical traditions.
Right.
And you had a class that was always called religion, and you learned about the Holy Crusades and all this information.
Right.
I never learned anything that was related to people who look like me or black folk around religion. I never had any experiences of that nature.
Right.
And I really didn't appreciate Catholicism or being raised that way and going to Catholic school and constantly sort of learning the Word of God from that point of view.
Right.
And also, every time we were forced to go to church in the middle of the day of our school day, I would start having a coughing fit. And if anybody knows, it's really quiet in a Catholic service the whole time. And you're sitting, standing, kneeling, all this stuff. And it was usually the whole school. And I would have this coughing fit. And now that I think about it, I'm like, I think that was sort of a reaction to just not wanting to be there. And allergies? I could not. Well, yeah. I mean, it could be allergies, but I just couldn't stop coughing. And I was like on display, but I always had to leave. So that was pretty good. But what I wanted to say about it never fed me. I never felt fulfilled. It always felt oppressive to me. And the worst part is that my parents never went to church.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, because you're starting, with Catholic school, but my question was, so was God talked about in your house? Did you say grace? Did you say prayers? Did you have, one of your Puerto Rican grandmothers, mira Jesus, me quiero mucho.
You're foolish. You're so foolish.
No, but
no, none of that. I mean, my mother taught me about God, and she taught me certain things. Like she prayed every day, and she taught me to pray. But she also taught me that God is always loving and never punishing. He never does anything to punish us.
Right.
And the other thing that she taught me was that God is everywhere. And I took those lessons to heart throughout my life. And always believed in that and always tried to behave that way or, sort of play it out.
Right.
But it was really disturbing to me that my parents never went to church because I'm like, why do I have to do this? That was like always my thing. Why do I have to be forced to go to church?
Wow.
I don't even appreciate it. It's nothing I want to do, and you all don't go. And I could never understand why they never went.
Right.
I still don't know why because I never asked.
Yeah.
But she did teach me some valuable lessons that helped me in my life to be a good person, a giving person. And I think that I struggle with forgiveness. I do. But all those three lessons I talked about is what went into how I wanted our wedding to look like. So I know you had a different experience growing up around church. You wanna say kind of what you learned growing up and what your experiences were around And I'm saying church, and I just want to be clear. There's a difference between spiritual life and church.
No question. Well, but I mean, I grew up, prayers, most definitely, before you go to bed, thankful to wake up, grace before you eat. And we went to church almost every Sunday. We were late, but we were there almost every Sunday.
I didn't have prayers before you eat, just at night before you go to sleep.
Yeah, no, giving thanks before you have a meal, especially, Thanksgiving and stuff, Lord, please bless this food on your table, and all this, the 5-minute speech from my grandfather. So no, it was everywhere, right? But I also had both my grandmothers were both spiritual, definitely. And so that was always a big part, right? Well, my grandmother on my mom's side, like she was really religious, like, scriptures, white gloves, Pentecostal, and sometimes I end up in a Pentecostal church. I would end up being Episcopalian, black Episcopalian, black and West Indian Episcopalian, African Methodist, West Indian African Methodist, and Pentecostal. Those are the 3 churches that I would wind up in. And the Pentecostal, I was like, get me out of here.
It's a thing.
Because it was really strict.
It's a thing, yeah.
But it was really strict. But it gave me, in terms of spirituality, it gave me a spiritual base. And
all 3?
All 3 gave me a spiritual base. But the one thing that I understood was this. One of my grandmothers was talking about one of the pastors of one of the churches, and she's like, something happened with him or whatever, and she was mad, and she'd suck her teeth and say, he's just a man. The man didn't write the book. The man just read it. And that stuck with me because I was like, holy shoot, she's right. The man did not write the book. He only reads it. Right?
It's true.
And I was like, wow, and so in terms of looking at the structure of the church and stuff, I started looking at, folks as people. And, my dad, I felt like he was doing his most dirt when he was in church. You know what I'm saying? And that's
the one place where you shouldn't be doing dirt.
Right. But I'm just saying, just around that time, and of course, good side, bad side, all sides, you know what I mean? But I started to just notice some of the people, and I was like, you know what, my relationship is between me and the man upstairs, right? Yeah. It doesn't mean if I didn't go to church every week, that didn't mean that I didn't have a spiritual base, and that's kind of what I brought into our relationship in terms of not necessarily feeling comfortable, like go to church, because I was like, yeah, I can sit there and get the word and stuff, but if I don't do the work that I need to do, then what was it for, right? Well, I was going to act up all week so I can go to church and say, oh, I cleaned it up, and then and then do all kind of crazy stuff for the week, and then go to church again on Sunday and be like, well, I did my duty. Let's keep it moving.
I mean, so, I think it's important not to judge what happens for people. I mean, we're all still learning. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's not like I'm just going to go do dirt. We're learning to be good people.
Yeah, that was kind of a joke, though.
Oh, well, I missed it.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, but I do think that people have that perspective and they live their life that way.
Right.
And think it's okay and don't necessarily really think about it.
Yeah.
But, we're talking about how spirituality gives to us, right? That's the point, right?
Yeah.
Finding, do you find time for you, quiet time?
Right.
And I think that as we planned our wedding, it was important for me not to feel like a heathen and go to a Catholic church and be counseled by priests when I know that I didn't believe in it. And I think the other piece that I missed saying, the reason why I was upset that my parents didn't go to church is because I was not getting my needs met and being abused. And I think there was something inside of me that thought maybe if they went to church, they'd see the error of their ways. And maybe that would have saved me, and maybe it would have changed my life, that part of my life. I never really talked about that out loud before, but yeah, I think I was hopeful.
Yeah.
And, like it was the same thing. We got married by justice of the peace. It was out in nature.
Right.
And I felt like that was God, right? I felt like we were getting married in front of God.
Right.
In his true house, which is, as it says in the Bible, what he created for us. So, I don't know. I just felt like that was ideal for us, and it wasn't forcing us to do anything we didn't believe in. And we had our friends, and well, see, this is the part, right? Maybe there's some people we shouldn't have invited to our wedding. Yeah. And maybe, and we also had to deal with your dad passing away 3 days before our wedding, which was devastating for us.
Yeah.
But feeling so blessed that we actually talked to him and asked him what he wanted us to do and what we should do. And his word to us was, live your lives.
Right.
Live your lives.
Right.
And that was like such a blessing. I mean, for someone who was not there when my father died and I never talked to him, being able to talk to your father really brought a peace to me. So, I think that I have not found my spiritual place, my journey, until recently, and started going to church and recognize that community is what I seek in church. You want to give me the word? That's fine. I'll take the word.
Right.
But I'm looking for community, and I'm looking for belonging and people and song and dance and just people, like the best of people. And that's what I've found, and I've been pretty regularly going to church. You go online, but I think that's fine because you're also working on a different part of your wellness, which, doesn't sort of allow you to go to church with me, but you're doing you.
Right.
And I think that's important because when I don't have the time and the space to go to church, I'm not sitting quietly and still and being reflective on what my week was or who I was or what happened or the difficulties.
Right.
So I don't know if you want to talk about what your experience has been in our relationship around church or your spiritual journey of wellness, what it looks like.
Yeah, randomly you just asked if I want to go to church. For a while, you'd like out of the blue, right? Doesn't make a difference what's going on, watching a basketball game, whatever. I'm like, ooh, you're like, you want to go to church tomorrow? I'm like, what? You want to go to church? I was thinking about going to church. Want to go to church? I'll be like, what is going on? Like out of nowhere, it's like sometimes it's just so random. You know what I mean? We're getting out of the shower. You're like, hey, I'm like, yeah, honey, want to go to church? I'm like, what?
You're such a jerk.
Like, but that's exactly how it started happening. You're like, I want to go to church. You want to go with me? I'm like, why? And like you couldn't tell me why. You know what I mean, for a while. So it was like really really kind of funny, but but then you were able to really explain it to me, and I understood. But it's it's something that unites people in some ways, and then sometimes it can divide folks. But it is something that, we can do together. And that's why I go online, and people know I go online, which I think is absolutely hysterical.
I know. They tell me.
They're like, Keith was on today.
Yes, I know. I know.
And I'm like, it's like, I feel like everybody in the church knows when I'm
that's
on
what
Zoom,
it feels like. Yeah.
Which is really nice. And I think, the community that I grew up in terms of church was it was everything. Like young people's fellowship and stuff, bike rides and fashion shows and plays and roller skating. Like there were so many activities. It was such a great community of people. That I think it was just a huge letdown for me when I started really looking around and seeing some things that were cool.
Seeing some things you didn't like.
You know what I'm saying? But it was really great. And of course I want you to be able to experience that. But I do understand that I have to support you in terms of that journey, right? I can't force that. I can advise you in some ways, but I really can't. Like, I have to allow you to find your base, right? And find that part of your wellness package, right? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the spiritual side of your wellness package. And some people start there. Some people start with faith first. And wherever people start is great. You know what I mean? But in people's relationships, with God and whoever they feel the creator or whatever is someone's own personal journey, right? And it's not something that I try to judge or whatever.
But it's more, your spiritual wellness is really about finding space for you, I think. Mm-hmm. To spend time with you and reflective of, things in your life, I guess. I mean, I come and I ask you, right? There's a word that's offered at church and I struggle with it. And then I ask you about it.
Right. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I'm like, what is this?
Right.
Like, what does this person mean? Why are they saying this? I don't agree. Like, I'm kind of like, what the F?
Right.
Sometimes. And, I'm not comfortable enough to reveal myself at church yet to ask those questions. Right. So I ask you.
Right. Well, if people listen to the podcast, they're going to know now. They'll probably be asking you if you have, if there's, questions that you have.
Oh, I hope not.
Or stuff
I'm
like
going to
that.
say no.
But you've been listening to Living a Triggered Life podcast with Keith Maskell.
And Roxann Maskell.
We're going to pick this up next time. But remember, you're no longer surviving, you're thriving. And you earn that. Thank you for listening to Living a Triggered Life podcast with Keith
and Roxann, presented by The Triggered Project.
To find out more information about The Triggered Project, go to www.triggered1.com. And remember, you're no longer surviving, you're thriving, and you earn that.